staying on the path that I've chosen. Straight up, come my way, and I'll see you at the top. 'Cause something's gonna happen in this story, and I can feel it coming, like the rising of the sun. Straight
Is that bigger than our boat?
We're gonna get to play Frogger crossing this river when we have to dodge between the boats. It should be fun.
This river?
This river, this is Savannah River.
We're coming up this way?
Well, no, we'll be crossing it. This, where they go out to sea, we'll be crossing right in front of them.
Oh.
Now we're 8 miles or so upriver from where the ICW comes across.
So, we are wrapping up a wonderful 9-day stay in Savannah, Georgia, or actually Thunderbolt.
Technically Thunderbolt, which is still, we can, from the drone up here, I can see downtown Savannah. We're just right outside. But it is easy access to the ICW. Savannah, you got to go upriver about 8 miles from the ICW, so Thunderbolt is right on the ICW, which makes it for a great Savannah touring stop.
We've had a great time. We've been getting a good mix of work, life, and play, and playing tourist.
Yes, yeah, we actually bought the cheesy tourist package and got the Savannah trolley tour and the riverboat and went to the Prohibition Museum, and all of which were fun. It was
fun. Downtown historic Savannah is just a really fun place to walk around. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of history, and it is a little touristy. But hey, it's cool. You can walk around with an open drink.
Yeah, and it's a $10 Lyft ride from here from Thunderbolt to downtown, which means you don't have to worry about parking or any of that stuff. So it's really easy to pop over and just have a good time.
So we are staying, however, at a boatyard.
Yes.
Which is kind of scary.
But we're not here for big boat work or anything like that. This is the Hinckley Yacht Center, and Hinckley is like one of the highest end brands of. They make really cool jet boats and sailboats and super high end things.
But this isn't. They don't make them here. They make them up in Maine.
Yeah. But they have service centers all up and down the coast to cater to their Hinckley customers. But they also are open to everyone. And they gave away a bunch of door prizes at the M2A Rendezvous, and we've won several free nights of staying here.
And they have, I didn't have high expectations about staying in a boatyard, but they actually, this is fancier than some marinas we've stayed at.
Yes, yeah, it's actually a really nice facility. There's, it's a working boatyard, but they've got really nice new docks. They have
great shore facilities. They have
great staff.
And yeah, fantastic staff. Free laundry. They have a courtesy car, so we've had a car for getting around and running errands, and on weekends to touring around because there's
went to Pickney Island and did groceries and stuff.
Not that many liveaboards here, and then just awesome people. And the staff here is just incredibly helpful and awesome. We've really enjoyed getting to know the people here. Dustin, the general manager, is just awesome. We've enjoyed hanging out with him and geeking out on solar and learning about boat life and cruising and getting tips on where to go.
Yes, we got some good tips. We're actually now about to cast off, and we're going to cross another state line. We're going to South Carolina today.
So, wrapping up a wonderful stay in Savannah. It could be a place I could see spending more time in the future. So, thank you, Hinckley, for the stay. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Very appreciative of the opportunity to be here in a great location. And
now off to a new state.
Our first time really parallel parking a boat. It was interesting, especially in the current. And there are our friends on Sea Trek. Awesome people. Used to watch the channel this time a couple of years ago, and now they're on their boat too.
That's South Carolina over there.
We're about to cross another state line.
Another state line. We're almost done with Georgia. It's amazing. This is the Savannah River. It's supposed to be like playing Frogger where you're dodging container ships, but I'm not seeing many container ships right now. So.
I think because we're on the lower side of tide, so they can't get up the river quite to the port yet. So we have downloaded Bob's Tracks again. What are Bob's Tracks?
There's a couple, Bob and I just started following them, but he publishes a book on also a track log every year detailing the state of the ICW, and his track logs are very, very detailed with explicit recommendations on how to go through different parts of the ICW. And then he manages a Facebook group that seems to be an amazing resource for discussing conditions on the ICW and good places to stop and all sorts of other things. So just started following this, and it's been an invaluable resource.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes.
Here's his tracks. The blue line is Bob's tracks, and Chris is off of them.
That's slightly. I'm in 20 feet of water.
Right, 17. Oh, 20, yeah, because that's our.
Yeah. So where are we cruising?
I have no clue. Wherever this line tells me to go.
No, where are we cruising past?
Oh, past.
This is Daufuskie Island.
Yes, that was a very fun stop.
So yeah, we just stopped for 2 nights anchored here up to the Cooper River just across from Daufuskie Island, and we went ashore both days. One day to hit we mentioned both of the 2 restaurants on this entire island, actually.
We did the Crab Shack the first night.
And then the second day we went back and rented a golf cart for a 3-hour tour to drive around, putz around the island. This is an island only accessible by boat, and a little passenger ferry comes over from Hilton Head. And it's a fascinating little island vibe there.
Yeah, it kind of takes you back in time. There's, everything has to be barged in or shipped in, so it's kind of remind me a little bit of when we lived on St. John in the Virgin Islands for a season, and without the mountains.
And yeah, and this is also, but it's close enough to Savannah and Hilton Head that a lot of people come here as kind of their weekend getaway or party getaway, or there's a lot of vacation rentals on the island too, and a few high-end resorts. So it's a very interesting vibe of like really old school, been here for hundreds of years, families and houses, and new school resorts, and island party vibe.
Yep,
so,
and one of the attractions is the Daufuskie Island Distillery. It used to be rum, but now they do vodka and bourbon and other things too. It's a pharmacist who moved here some years ago and got bored of just reading books.
Bored of island life, yeah, so he said, I can make rum.
So he started a distillery here, and it's a tour that you can go on from the golf cart and then do a tasting. Really interesting people. Yeah. We had a fun time there.
And we also met some of the interesting locals, including the possum lady with an awesome possum. So, hey.
Yep, she rescues possums and gets them back to healthy and then releases them. She's just a book of knowledge about possums. We learned a whole bunch, and we got to meet her current rescue desk master, and it's super cool.
It's fun to go to these places that you really would not get to. They're just so off the beaten path that you wouldn't get to if you weren't on the water. So, and going at a slow pace. So we're enjoying it.
Yep, so enjoyed 2 nights anchored over there with nice seclusion. We saw fireworks over Tybee Island last night, had gorgeous sunsets, and the weather has just been spectacular.
Yeah, they're saying this might be the best weather until fall, so we're soaking it up.
And
no
solar?
Air conditioner, solar is rocking it, sunny and cool.
Yes, it's been fabulous. So now we're on to, where were you taking us, like Bluffton or something like that?
Yeah, we're going up to Bluffton, up the May River, not very far at all today, and then on to Beaufort and Port Royal after that.
See you there.
We ended up not finding a decent anchorage at Bluffton, so we continued on and found a delightful anchorage right off Pickney Island, just past Hilton Head. And yeah, this one was awesome.
Out here.
It's beautiful out here.
It's beautiful?
Uh-huh.
You like just floating along? Pickney Island National Wildlife Refuge, which has hiking trails, 17 miles of trails.
And a really nice anchorage right off over there, and an old boat ramp to get ashore.
Yes. Hey, we're recording, and we're in Port Royal.
Port Royal, which is just south of Beaufort. South Carolina.
Basically it is a coast city with Beaufort. Beaufort's the north one, Beaufort's the south one. That's spelled the same. But Beaufort, South Carolina, which is an adorable town. The entire downtown is a National Historic District with all these pre-Civil War homes. This marina, the Port Royal Marina, is just far enough away.
Port Royal, not Royal.
Port Royal is just far enough away that you can't walk to all the cool stuff, unfortunately.
We came here. There's 3 marinas in the area. 2 are downtown and are highly rated and are reported to be awesome experiences. One even has a mooring field, which is what we would have probably selected. However, when we were at the MTOA rendezvous, we won a free night at Port Royal landing, and we got here for our one night, and they offered to apply it towards their weekly rate, which was much cheaper than any of the weekly rates except for the mooring ball in town, and we were swayed by that because they also had a courtesy car.
They had a courtesy car, and the weather forecast ahead was looking brutally hot, so we're like, yes, air conditioning on a dock could be good. So it was great in that standpoint, and the staff at this marina is top-notch, fabulous.
Fabulous people here, very helpful. They'll go overboard to help you. Not many transients in, so we pretty much had full use of the courtesy car whenever we needed it, which was awesome. That did allow us to get out and explore. The marina here is just a fabulous facility. It's just there's not much to do right here. There's 2 restaurants you can walk to, plus a fast food. There's a Piggly Wiggly you can get to. You can kind of walk to Port Royal or Royals downtown, which has some cute stuff. It's a little bit out of walking range
because they don't really have sidewalks, and they do have loaner bikes here, but there's no good bike routes to get around. So we relied on the courtesy car, and would just go down to Beaufort.
Yeah, but we did get out exploring. We went out to Hunting Island. I went to the lighthouse there in the state park. That was an amazing experience. Went to the kazoo factory and made our own kazoos.
Yeah,
Where are we going?
Kazooby, the kazoo factory.
According to this brochure, we're going to be paying to make kazoos.
Yeah, so this is how they get their labor. You pay them, you do all the work, you get 1 free kazoo, and you probably make 1,000 or so. They put you to work for a day, and then they sell them.
Let's see how this goes.
Children's clubs and men's associations realize the ease at which they can learn the instrument and soon form bands.
So we're going to come over here and you're going to insert that kazoo.
There we are. Close up. You need a kazoo.
Just for fun. No quitting. We're going all the way through. Ready? 1, 2, and 3.
This is the home of the Kazoo Museum here in Beaufort, so that is kind of cool. Not something I expected to run into while traveling.
And we did enjoy getting downtown and walking around the historic district. The locals down there are just so well. Everyone here in the area is just...
Southern hospitality is a real thing.
Yeah, we're walking around the downtown area, or actually the historic neighborhood, looking at the places like where the Big Chill was filmed and things like that. And some ladies were sitting out on a porch, and they called us over and said, hey, you guys from out of town? They got our story, they told us theirs, and then soon enough they're handing us to-go cups
full of wine
to go explore their neighborhood with.
If you're going to walk through our neighborhood, you need a glass of wine. Enjoy the houses. We're like, okay, cool.
Which was a really cool experience. And you just get that sort of thing here all the time when people learn that you're from out of town.
Yeah, the farmers market here was a great experience as well.
It really was. A lot of farmers.
Actual real farmers at the farmers market. Yeah, let's look at all this stuff. And look at all this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
This is the Port Royal Farmers Market is every Saturday morning, and this has got to be one of the best farmers markets we've ever been to.
It has a high ratio of actual farmers and produce to... We go to so many farmers markets, and they're full of, selling candles and body stuff, and that's great, but you only need so much of that stuff.
And some of the farmers seem to have had done their shopping at Publix beforehand, whereas here, there's so much real farmers with fresh stuff. And
eggs, meats, breads, pizza being made on site. We got some gluten-free gnocchi that we're going to enjoy this week.
So we got this. We stocked up. I could barely. We both need to carry this bag that is loaded down with yum. So
yes.
If you're ever passing through Port Royal on a Saturday, this is actually a great reason to stop at the Port Royal Marina. Is come ashore for the farmers market. It's a short walk. It's an annoying walk without a sidewalk, but it's worth it.
But all in all, it was a good day, and we just did a lot of work. It was hot out. The transient dock at this marina
Port Royal Landing. Yeah.
is on the outside, so you are right along the ICW. It's technically a no-wake zone, but no one seems to appreciate that.
It can get very, very bouncy.
Very bouncy, as well as when the winds are kicking up. So it was a very bouncy stay. Very long walk to shore, and not much really to do on shore right here. So kind of a mixed bag. Don't regret coming here, but definitely don't feel we got the full Beaufort experience.
Yeah.
And I think if weather was permitting, we would do a mooring ball.
Yeah, mooring ball, or there's actually anchoring right near downtown as well. So either one of those would have been more our style personally.
But it is summer.
And and for a one-night stop, this would have been perfect. But for a week, we were getting kind of little.
I honestly feel like I'm leaving here after being here a month. It just feels that long.
Because we usually decide we want to leave someplace when we no longer feel like the walking is interesting, where we can go right out of our boat, and there's no place to walk here, so that wears
The
out.
little neighborhood's cute and stuff like that, but it's pretty much other than that, you're out on the main road and it's busy. And
Cool. Okay, catch you the next stop. We're heading north to Charleston.
what are you two doing?
We are planning our route to Charleston.
Ooh. What tools do you use to do that?
I'm using Aquamap and a waterway guide, an active captain and waterway guide reports that are in Aquamap. That's why it's nice, because you get them both.
And the cat has final say.
Oh yeah. She just points to the ones she likes.
Kiki, where are we going next? You decided yes.
Town you pass it, Cherie?
What?
What town is this?
I think it's Beaufort, right?
No, Beaufort.
No, it's Beaufort.
Beaufort.
See, I'm going to continue to get wrong. It's a cute little town.
Very cute little town. It's downtown marina. Mooring fields.
Rocking and rolling.
We are in a very rocky Charleston Harbor right now.
But how did we get here?
Hey, when we last recorded a video, we were in Beaufort,
South Carolina.
And we decided to take 5 days going a trip that most cruisers do in 1 or 2. We'd like to spread it out and anchor out, and we've really enjoyed our anchoring out time between Beaufort here and Charleston.
Even though it was freaking hot out. We are in, definitely summer is in full force. We've been getting temperatures in the upper 90s, heat indexes in the lower 100s. But we managed to do 5 days at anchor with very minimal air conditioning time, because the coastal breezes really make all the difference.
Yeah, it was actually really beautiful. We found some really stunning anchorages. First one we did was Monkey Island.
Yeah, so right after leaving Beaufort, there's like a whole bunch of nothing's a straight line in the low country at all.
And we went all of like 8 miles as the crow flies, and it was a 20-mile cruising day, which is kind of fun.
But nice little anchorage, but nothing really to do there, so we decided to move on the next day. I found one, there were several anchorages, little creeks off of the ICW. We picked one at Steamboat Creek, which had access to a public dock, so we could get on land and walk a little.
And it had access to lots of dolphins, which were fun and beautiful to watch, and we just spent 2 nights there, actually.
Yeah, we did 2 nights at anchor there. We discovered while we were there that, maybe it was there the last one, I forget which anchorage it was, but the previous owner of our boat had left behind something called a breeze booster,
yes,
which is like a tent canopy that goes around the front portals, or not the portals, the hatches, and boosts the breeze.
Yeah, we've been since we've been focusing on our work time here, testing cellular boosters. That's why there's antennas all clustered behind me. We're like, well, let's test this booster too and see what it does to improve the cell signal. Didn't impact the cell signal at all, but definitely improved the breeze.
Yeah, so it was really, really great. I'm glad we had that option on board.
It's been in the closet for 2 years. We didn't even know how to set it up.
Well, we totally kind of forgot about it. Yeah, we are rocking and rolling. So yeah, we did 2 nights at Steamboat Springs to get on shore, get some walking. Not much to do there, but it was great.
Beautiful. Great sunsets.
Great sunsets, lots of dolphins. Oh my gosh.
And we've been taking advantage of every time in the afternoon when it gets hot, we would just jump off the back of the boat and hang on the swim line and just let the natural air condition of water cool us off.
Great way to end a hot day. We would end up running the generator and the air conditioner for around 2, maybe 3 hours at most in the heat of the day, just to break it down, let the cat not suffer so much. Then in the evenings, we were pretty chill, just letting the breeze come through the boat. So that worked out really well.
And then we did a final anchorage in Church Creek, which was really beautiful.
And that's a traditional one a lot of cruisers will stop on if they're doing an overnight in between Beaufort and Charleston, because it's about as halfway as you're going to get.
And yeah, that one is also like right where you have to time the tide. It's the final approach, the final like 25 miles into Charleston. There's some significant currents potentially on Elliott's Cut that could be exciting.
About to do another considered challenging pass.
This is Elliott Cut that cuts from the Stono River into Charleston Harbor. And when the current is flowing, apparently it can be up to 7 knots of current, like whitewater craziness. And boats are going in opposite directions very bad. And it's a no wake zone, and so you've got to go slow, and it'll be very exciting, particularly for underpowered sailboats. We've timed it so it should be non-eventful because we did our homework. So fingers crossed, no big issues in there.
And then this will dump us into Charleston Harbor,
Yes.
which will be probably one of our busiest harbor entries to date.
Yep. Big harbor.
All right, wish us luck.
Cherie, you're cruising in Charleston Harbor with an aircraft carrier in front of you.
Hopefully it's not moving, right?
No, I think it's docked.
Okay, good.
And some of these other Civil War forts are out here. And big container barges. Whee! But we timed things perfectly and got into Charleston Harbor, where suddenly we've got big waves and giant ships and all this fun stuff. But we're here and excited. Actually, we decided to spend an entire month.
So yeah, we're welcome to Charleston. And this is kind of a major milestone for us in our cruising adventures.
It's 1,000 miles in the Great Loop.
For us, since we started in Punta Gorda, we officially turned we don't really have an odometer, but
We technically sort of do on the Garmin, but yes, we have 1,000 miles.
1,000 miles, 1,004 technically, since we left Punta Gorda, Florida in April 2017, arriving here in June 2019.
And those are Great Loop miles, not counting our side trips up to St. John's and everything else. So yeah.
So just on Great Loop miles, we're keeping the St. John's and some of the side trips separate in our mileage calculation. So total, we've got more like 1,500 miles under our belts. But yeah, so 1,000 miles of the Great Loop. We can. How many miles of the Great Loop? Depends on who you're asking.
6 or so, 7
there
or
are so many different ways you can do it in side pass. So it's usually somewhere considered anywhere between 5,500 and 7,000 miles is a typical looper mileage. So yeah, at this pace, we got 20 years.
Yes. But we're making some good progress this year, and we're having a blast. But
that's the most important thing.
Yes, it's not a race.
The other milestone for us is when we were doing our boat hunt, we actually stopped in Charleston for a good solid week over the James Island County Park with our friends Nina and Paul, and spent some time touring Charleston with them. And you know, it's one of those places where we looked at the marinas around the area and said, one day this will be us.
And yeah, so now we're here. We're actually, you know, docked right in the heart of town, walking distance to everything, and you know, kind of experiencing that, and the contrast of being here and walking distance to everything as opposed to the really nice RV campground, but that was a 20-30 minute drive away, so fun. You'd like to switch.
So we selected the Charleston Maritime Center, which is not necessarily a mainstream marina. There's there's only a few slips here,
and not a lot of space for larger boats in particular.
So a lot of people choose the city marina on the other side of the peninsula, which is a bit of a haul to get into the historic areas of downtown.
Yeah, the other side is known for its strong currents, but it is much more protected. Whereas out here we have, we're right on the harbor, so we've got the cruise ships parked right here. container ships go right there, the ferries go back and forth, and it is rough waters, but it's worth it.
Yes, we are in the middle of everything. We are just blocks from the historic King Street, the shopping areas, the dining, the French Quarter. So we can explore everything by foot here without needing transportation. And to us, that's worth it for the bounciness. We can do bouncy, I think. We're doing so well.
Ask us in a week, but so far so good.
But also the monthly right here, they don't normally do monthlies. That's the trick, is during their peak seasons, which are fall and spring, you have a max 10 days that they'll allow for transients. But on their off season, they do allow up to a monthly. And
the monthly is a great deal.
It's a great deal. So it was $24 a foot for their regular rate, but if you're a Boat US member, which we are, it's only $18 a foot. That's an incredible discount, which is a lot cheaper than the City Marina, which is $25 a foot this time of year, $32 a foot other times of the year. So great rate, all-inclusive electric, like flat rate of like $70 a month, which we're going to be using that with the air conditioner.
Oh yes.
But yeah, we put up with some bounciness. We're right next to the aquarium. We've got the water taxi here, so we can get across the harbor to the Yorktown, to Patriots Point.
Yeah, we have an aircraft carrier right there, and that's where the 4th of July fireworks are going to be, right over our head.
So it should be a fun month here, a great spot to explore Charleston from. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we discover.
Yay!
1,000 miles!
We create these videos just for fun, and we love having you along for the ride. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, or if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. See you next time!